is he a servant? Not only is he committed to making us all better, but he is one person that I can always count on to say a prayer. I can send him a text and say, could you pray? And he'll do it immediately and not wait. And I want to give a nod to a couple other people, and then I'm gonna get into my comments again. I'm never a fan of going after a strong Baptist preacher, so y'all have to let me get myself settled here. But Mayor Lott, it's good to see you, my brother, my friend. I appreciate who you are and all you do, and ask that you would continue in the vein. A big shout out to my beautiful, amazing, wonderful, fabulous, awesome wife, Dr. Geraldine Jones. Go ahead. She is the original Dr. Jones in the family. And she truly is amazing, and I'm thankful to God for her. So, but before I begin, I'd love to say a couple of quick words, and it's interesting how God brings things together, because what I want to share today, I have some prepared comments, and they are on the beloved community and the promise of Arkansas. The beloved community and the promise of Arkansas. But before I begin, Reverend Hunt talked about the 6 M's, and one of the M's are the mayors. I was once a mayor myself. You can give me a round of applause for that. I was the Pine Bluff Youth Council mayor, and was quite proud of it. I tell you, it's not as significant as your role, Mayor Lott, but I certainly learned a lot in that role. And I understand the importance of mayors and the significance of the role you play as city leaders, as champions of local communities. And in none other time than this, your role has been on full display. And when national politics has gotten in the way of doing what is right, it's our mayors that have stood up for communities and public health. So hats off to you all. This is also an excellent time to rebuild our state through the mayors, and the next governor will determine what resources go where. That should happen in conjunction with mayors. That must happen in conjunction with mayors. I need you all at the table, and I'm excited about what comes next. So, the beloved community and the promise of Arkansas. The beloved community and the promise of Arkansas. By the time I was 8 years old, I knew that I wanted to go to Morehouse. I knew it because of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He had inspired me even as a child, and as I reflect on his life and legacy, I can't help but think of what Dr. King might say today, in this moment in Arkansas. And my reflection feels special because Dr. King and I share a common set of experiences. You see, we both lived in the same on-campus dorm at Morehouse, Sale Hall. We both heard lectures in the same chapel, Graves Hall dorm. Sale Hall was the chapel. We both immersed ourselves in the wisdom of an iconic leader, Dr. Benjamin Elijah Mays. We were both refined in the fire of the school on the red clay hill. And we both made the journey north to Boston for grad school. As Morehouse men, Dr. King and I were always bound into ties more brotherly. These ties and the paths we chose leave me with a deep connection to King. And I hear his words in my ear, and I feel his pull on my soul. His spirit is here reminding me to be a better preacher, a better leader, a better man. Dr. King and the paths we share are what steal my hand when I'm lied on, and my first impulse is to push back. His words lift me when I'm weary. His life reminds me to be steadfast, honest, and true. But despite our shared heritage, he does not just belong to me. His vision of a beloved community is not only one that I can hold. If you were to make a list of Americans who truly changed the course of history, he would be at the top of the list. He will be on the first page. His calls for peace save lives. His demands for dignity and equity ennoble this nation. His memory has kept us all aiming for that beloved community. A society based on justice, equal opportunity, and a creative and redemptive love for one's fellow neighbors. The ties that I have with King force me to believe that he would admonish us to understand the beloved community and do the work of making it real in our own families, communities, cities, states, and nations. In fact, he once noted that our goal is to create a beloved community, and this will require a qualitative change in our souls, as well as a quantitative change in our lives. As such, I choose to make the qualitative and quantitative change by continuing the work to realize the promise of Arkansas. Realizing the promise of Arkansas is how we actualize the beloved community. And that is where I want my energies focused. But I hear you asking, I hear you pontificating, I hear you wondering on a question. What is the promise of Arkansas? What is the promise of Arkansas? The promise of Arkansas is the faith that together we can address our challenges. It is the hope that unified we make space for each other to live out our unique potential. It is the hard work of qualitative and quantitative change in our souls and in our lives. It is that and so much more. The promise of Arkansas is every family having access to high-quality pre-K, every child reading by third grade, out-of-school support networks that give students what they need academically and socially. It is strong, affordable technical and trade schools, and equally strong adult certification programs. The promise of Arkansas is attracting and retaining the world's best educators because we support and pay them their worth. It is that and so much more. The promise of Arkansas is every home having access to affordable, high-quality, high-speed broadband. It is clean water systems and safe bridges. It is drivable roads for trucks. It is patient-centered healthcare systems of hospitals, nursing homes, community-based care, in-home care, telehealth that are connected, supported, and working on behalf of Arkansans. The promise of Arkansas is bolstering financial technology accelerators and building agricultural technology accelerators. It is that and so much more. The promise of Arkansas is every community being within reach of sustaining wage jobs. It is Main Street mom and pop shops receiving comprehensive support. It is public-private partnerships that create multiple points of synergy throughout municipalities. It is attracting large-scale employees who bring higher wages and direct community investments. The promise of Arkansas is easing the financial burden on teachers, firefighters, EMTs, and police who are the financial and cultural lifeblood of every city and town. It is that and so much more. The promise of Arkansas makes us ask ourselves the hardest questions. Why can't we end homelessness? What stops us from having high-speed rail across our state? Why do our neighbors have to die of drug addiction? What if we created innovation hubs in every region? What if we decriminalized being poor? Why don't we create a more just justice system? The promise of Arkansas asks and admonishes us to ask those questions and then pushes us to go about the work. The promise of Arkansas is the faith, hope, and hard work needed to actualize the beloved community. That is the promise of Arkansas. And I'm running for governor because I want Arkansas to realize its promise. I understand with every fiber of my being that together, unified as one state, we can realize the true promise of Arkansas. We need each of you to continue the fight. Don't stop the work. I ask all of you to remember King's words and live out his legacy. Never forget. I know that our faith in each other is the rocket fuel we need to reach our destination. I believe that our hope for a brighter future can cut through all the darkness. And I know that our hard work together as neighbors is what we need to realize the promise. Join me in this journey. Our future deserves it. Thank you and God bless.